And we're catching up to live time, but Dogal comes in here with 2 wins. Dogal comes in here in 5th place in the group. Now, he does have a series in hand, but he is struggling right now and really needs to get some results against a player in TaToH who's in 4th place. TaToH has 5 total wins. He has this series, and then he has 1 series against ACCM, and that is it for him. TaToH went down 2-1 to Nikov. He went down 2-1 to MBL, and then he has that 3-0 victory against Bad Boy. He is not going to be liking the fact that he doesn't have many Series 1 and that he doesn't have as many points on the board as some of the other players out there. This group feels like, while things could change, it feels like Nikov and MBL are safe, and then you have ACCM, Dogao, and TaToH, who are all going to be playing each other over the final week or so here. Those are the 3 players that are fighting to see who's 3rd, 4th, and 5th place, as Bad Boy is very much going to be last. In the blue, we have TaToH playing as the Vikings. In the red, we have Dogal playing as the Japanese. I speculated a lot on what civilizations would be played on this map, and pretty standard one. Japanese known for their good flexibility on maps with water. Vikings known for their strong galley opening on maps with water. I expect both players to dock, and TaToH's actually running to the middle right now. Interesting. I guess he's maybe looking for fish, but it feels like he could have easily docked here. Still scouting right now. He'll find the enemy, and oh, he's making a barracks. Dang, that's cool. Seb, if you need that link, someone else, one of the mods could post it, or someone can post it, and I can pin it later, or just wait a little bit. Yeah, the thing with Vikings that I've talked about a lot over the last, what has it been, 3 weeks now, 3.5 weeks, is that, yes, galley opening can be strong to win water, but you have to babysit it. You have to micro. You have to pay attention to it all the time. And so if someone sneaks some stuff to your land and then you have to react there, you could fall behind on water because you can't micro. So I personally have not been a big fan of the Vikings pick to go straight galleys. I haven't seen it get many results. I've seen the Japanese perform fairly well in this event. Dogao with very good eco so far, pumping out the fishing ships. But the last place he's probably ever going to look is in the middle for a barracks. Like, he'll probably check the shoreline to see if he can find a dock, and TaToH's going to do that now. TaToH's going militia. And TaToH knows that Dogao is docked there. His scouting is fantastic. Also, it says these guys are allies at the bottom, which is hilarious to me. This has to be a capture age bug, right? Because we were just doing community games. That never happens. I'm going to assume that's a bug. I mean, or maybe they could ally each other. Did they not lock the teams in the lobby or something? If they didn't lock the teams, maybe that would show up. Anyways, Dogao still does not know there's a barracks. He's now gotten hit by a militia, though, so he has an idea. He still hasn't seen a dock either. And then TaToH's going to sneak over here. And what a great start for TaToH. And Dogao with the quick walls. He won't get it down, guys. He won't get it down. This could be an easy Vil pick for the Spaniard. Should be an easy Vil pick for the Spaniard. Boom. Villager down. And now Dogao has to abandon that wood line. Also, over here, this fishing ship could go down in a moment. Dogao is just currently spending his time attacking a house as he tries to fix his economy. You've got this villager kind of stuck. Other villagers will have to go to another lumber camp, most likely. A good start for TaToH. Dogao does click up to the next stage, though. He's making his own militia. And he's over on gold now. Considering he had fishing ships before TaToH, I think this is still pretty even. They're not allied. Red is allied to red. Yeah, I know they're not allied, but I think that maybe there's a chance that the teams aren't locked or something. Anyways, TaToH's going to see this. And TaToH's probably thinking that he's been denying his golds here, but that's not the case. Japanese man-at-arms. They attack very fast in Feudal Age. And honestly, the more I look at this, the more I like Dogao's position. The worry for me is that he doesn't know what TaToH's up to. He can't stop TaToH from walling right now. And if he ends up playing defensive with his militia, it could be a problem. We have the quick walls from Dogao. After a good start from TaToH, Dogao looking to respond. And honestly, very clean play from him. Everything's protected for now. He's coming forward immediately. TaToH still isn't clicked up to the next stage. TaToH doesn't even look like he's planning on clicking up to the next stage. He saw the barracks with flags. Surprised. Walling in his resources now. Does have a massive house wall in towards his TC. TaToH just, yeah, counting on walls. He has walled up most of his base. So Dogal knows the berries are there. He knows the gold is here. He's looking. Now, if he knew what TaToH was doing, I'm sure his first play would be to attack the house. Attack the house and then try and bust through with an archer follow-up. But I don't think he knows exactly what TaToH's up to. He's going to go fire galley for the water, which makes sense. Almost looks like he wants to consider a second dock. TaToH won't be able to fast castle off this. There's the range for Dogal. Still looking for damage. Again, he doesn't know that TaToH's fully walled yet. So this is what you could consider wasted time, but you do have the check as a player. And, oh, villager from... How did that even happen? Villager goes down there. That's 2 eco kills for TaToH. Who still has his dock, by the way. I lost the militia there. Dogal will continue to make fire galleys. Dogal should be pretty good on water still. And Dogal, with this villager, is going to make another dock. So archers for Dogal, man-at-arms for Dogal, and fire galleys for Dogal. Whereas TaToH is seemingly trying a fast castle that he might get away with. Hey, thank you, Seb. Oh. Wait. Oh, man, Dogal had a moment there where he had broken through and just didn't realize. I don't know if you could say sloppy for Dogal so far, because I really like his approach, but, you know, he has had some issues with TaToH's rush. Losing the villager on the wood line originally, losing that vill underneath the TC. Still, I'm also very impressed with how he's playing this, because he's got the archers already. Archers moving out across the map, and TaToH's placing a tower because he probably senses this could happen. This tower is within the TC range. Or like this villager is within the TC range, but TaToH ends up deleting it. And he seems concerned about this, guys. Really needs access to this gold. This gold's exposed. This gold's exposed. Also is going to slowly lose control over the game because he's losing his dock. Dogal feeling pretty comfortable right now, I imagine. Very smart from him as well to send his archers forward first instead of dealing with the militia. He could have done the same thing with his man-at-arms. But in the end, TaToH will get his tower up. TaToH can take some gold now. TaToH still has to think of some way to stop Dogal from gaining a lead with the fishing ships, though. TaToH does have some farming eco. He does have wheelbarrow for free now with this civ. And as he builds a market, I'm sure he's going to use that and buy his way up to the next stage. Interesting first game. Here's the archer. Spearman's even brought over here as Dogal will take this time to try and deal with this. And this is what I mentioned earlier. Just hit the house. You'll destroy the houses so quickly. Now, unfortunately, TaToH, he ends up having some range units here, but TaToH doesn't have fletching yet, and Dogal does, and it's all about Dogal right now. This gets cleared. That does not include the scout from TaToH, which is running away. And we even have a galley here for Dogal. I don't know, like, it's very difficult to say what is working the best right now. I think this is a somewhat even game. TaToH is going to gain what he wanted. He wanted the faster castle age. I think he's going to try and sneak a vill on a shoreline. I think he's checking this, and I think he might loop a villager around. Yeah, I mean, both players have killed 2 economy. Obviously in very different ways. Both players have ranged army. Based on the games that I've seen, it feels like it's crucial for TaToH to be able to get back on water now. And not being able to have fire ships could be a big problem for him with that. But having wheelbarrow already for your eco, he's going to wall it in. Oh my god, TaToH. TaToH just walls it in a tourney game. So it doesn't attack him anymore instead of just killing it. The villager would still be fine. It's ridiculous. He's so good at that. Yeah, if you don't get fire galleys, I don't think you can easily come back on water. So this might be something else from TaToH. Dogal looking around. And look, yep, this is what I mean. TaToH's going to try and dock. There's vision over here. There's vision over here. This would be spotted. If TaToH were to place the dock here, he'd be safe. I guess TaToH wants to go longboats. Obviously has his army tracking Dogal. Dogal might not notice this. Okay, Dogal's attacking the dock. He's not intentionally doing that, though. That's just auto attack, and now he sees it. Wow, great heads-up play from Dogal. This is amazing. I think Dogal's going to love life. He'll know now that he can just add more galleys and fire galleys. He knows TaToH's approach was to come back on water, and I think TaToH has to change his game plan. That dock was denied, 50%, waste of wood for TaToH. Now TaToH's going to get crossbow for 6 archers, and he's going to get bodkin arrow. But what he was hoping was that bodkin arrow would also apply to longboats. Great pickoffs from TaToH, though. He uses the scout and his range units very nicely. And I would like to see TaToH maybe consider... Oh, no, he is still trying to come back on water. I was going to say maybe consider dropping a second TC from here. Villager does continue. Also, the dock is still... could be finished at this point if TaToH really wanted to. He's being stubborn about it. He is adding longboats. For Dogal, you want to use all this food and gold. And you want to research the water upgrade, which will upgrade your ships. Probably get bodkin arrow as well, and just never give up on water here. Dogal gets the villager! Dogal gets the villager, and she was finishing a house because TaToH needed one. Dang, that's crazy. So TaToH can't finish the partially built dock, and he can't build the new dock, and now he has to come over here. I don't know, guys. Not looking very good for TaToH at the moment. I've never been convinced with Vikings on this map because you do not get fire galleys. I feel like fire galleys are more important in Feudal and in Castle Age. Here he's got a small force, which Dogal will need to deal with. Dogal should be able to, though. And then here TaToH loses this dock. Still, though, not giving up on the strategy. He's maybe trying to kill fishing ships right now, but he's making more docks. So no TCs for TaToH, no booming for TaToH. Keep in mind he's had no fishing ships. For Dogal, he's heading the second town center right now, and I think he's feeling like he's got this one. Now, don't get me wrong. Like, later on, if you have water control with Vikings and have full longboat, there's not a lot of civilizations that can really stop you, so... I think you just have to swing this back to how much credit we need to give Dogal, because TaToH, MBL, so many other players who have played this map, and they've opened up on land. They've switched back on the water later, and then it just felt so right. And here we're looking at TaToH's approach, and it's not looking good at all. This army needs to leave. Dogal's matched the army with the same exact composition. And Dogal... he should have no real concerns. I would say get some scouting down on the sides of your base. Maybe sometimes TaToH's going to sneak a siege workshop or something. Look like that'll happen for TaToH as he's adding TC number 3. Okay. So after this, if you want to get back on water, you need a castle on the shoreline. But I think TaToH has to play fully defensive at this stage. There's nothing he can really do in Castle Age. He can't hit Dogal at all. Dogal's likely going to have more army, and Dogal's likely going to hit him. So, your own crossbows, but probably defensive right now if you're TaToH. Maybe even some siege if you're concerned. But guys, this is amazing from Dogal. Also, look how he had the house walls on the flanks. This is a very Dogal thing. A lot of the Brazilian pros do this. He knew that a couple palisades would be an issue over here, so he house walled up while he was doing everything else. Now he'll take out this archery range, and here he comes with an army. This might be Dogal's best map so far. I remember when he played Nikov. This is where he got his win. Otherwise, Nikov pretty much dominated the guy. But Dogal's looked really clean. I'm trying to think back. I think he played Byzantines against Nikov's Vikings. In fact, I have seen Vikings 3 times now in Golden Swamp, and I have not seen Vikings win at all yet. Pretty crazy stat. Monastery right now for TaToH. Probably just to snag relics. He doesn't have access to the middle gold. So he'll want to think about the late game. Yeah, longboats look awesome. If there was a tier list for how ships look, I feel like longboats would definitely be near the top. I like the longboats the most in terms of the look. However, when the ship goes down, I prefer the caravel. Caravels sinking are very satisfying, the way they just like bounce around. This barracks will go down to fire ships. And Dogal, 66 eco versus TaToH, 62. Ballistics now on the way for Dogal, but the tower for TaToH. That should protect him there, and I believe he might consider guard tower if he really feels like this should be a problem for him. The turtle ship looks as attractive as an overturned armadillo. Wait, are you saying overturned armadillos aren't attractive? Is that just me then? Wow, that's weird. I just thought everyone thought those things were attractive. Here comes TaToH with a side push that Dogao has not seen. This will surprise him. He's going to have to deal with this. He'll add his own siege workshop. He pulls away with these villagers now. Remember, he has ballistics, and he just showed up to TaToH's base, and he couldn't hit anything. He just sees towers everywhere. So it would make sense for Dogao to direct his army's attention back home. I don't think this is going to be too much of a problem for Dogao if he adds his own siege. I also really like the stone walls here. Also, my chat just like, there you go. That's weird. But I think the crossbows having ballistics could easily pick off TaToH's ranged army. And then it's a situation where it's just siege for TaToH and that's it. Not the worst thing in the world, because it's not like that Dogal's going to make knights or something. But obviously, if you want to kill somebody, you probably need to have more than just 6 crossbows here. I think Dogal's going to be fine, and TaToH gets hit. And these crossbows will come over here. Now, TaToH will see that. And ultimately, what TaToH's plan is here, I expect a big sell-off of wood here in a second, by the way. Actually, he literally just did it. Literally just did it. I didn't have the notification up. TaToH just wants to delay Dogal and force reactions from Dogal so he can somehow get back on the water. That's the plan here. So this is not meant to kill Dogal. It's meant to delay Dogal. Dogal has to address it. Otherwise, it could kill him. But again, usually that would not. TaToH very close to clicking up to the Imperial Age right now. And Dogal with the micro here against the siege. Not the prettiest micro you've ever seen from the guy, but over here still defending. And TaToH's making him work. Is really making the guy work. TaToH has the resources to go up. There he goes. Again, I think castle on the shoreline. And then you try and redock. I think that's the play. TaToH's done an incredible job to hold off Dogal. I think that's the important thing. We thought Dogal was going to have the map control to be able to pressure TaToH. But in the end, TaToH is now pressuring Dogal. And look at this micro. My God. Could lose a villager or two here, but I don't think that's the biggest deal. If you can get docks down and get the galleys on the way, or I guess in this case, the longboats, could be crazy. Dogal's probably so frustrated. You know, he went into ballistics. He's had all this water control. Here he comes with his crossbows. He can't get in anywhere. He's going to try. We'll see if TaToH reacts to this one. TaToH needs it. TaToH! If TaToH garrison any number of his buildings here, all these crossbows will go down. But Dogal gets a few kills. And I'm guessing that he was looking at this Dogal. In the end, he will... bonk! Oh, he doesn't get it. And yeah, Dogal still kind of has some interesting problems. He's clicked up to the Imperial Age. We have the docks for TaToH starting to make longboats. So Dogal needs to make his own navy, but he also needs to make land military to deal with all this. 33 to 26 KD. I cannot stress to you how important it is that both players get wins. TaToH has already beaten Bad Boy 3-0, which is something that Dogal is going to have to, you know, try and do. You still have to play him. But the point is like 3 of the 5 wins for TaToH out of 3 rounds is against 1 player. He only got 1 win against Nikov, only got 1 win against MBL. And then after this series, he has ACCM, and that's it. He needs to get wins on the board. It's very much a fight between those 3 players I just mentioned. One of them will be getting relegated, and all 3 of them are big names. Also, what's up, Varian? Yeah, we had to hop into casting this, but that was a fun time. I don't know how close I was to killing your TC, but I'd like to think I took it down low. I was worrying about trying to explode somebody else at the time. But, good stuff, good stuff. TaToH getting Bracer, but TaToH still not really having the numbers is the concern. He's trying his best to move towards his castle fire, I think. Longboats are queued up out of the docks, though. Also, still has this tiny little army over here annoying Dogal. Dogao with a castle. That could be one of many castles. It's the first time he's placed a castle, and he's had the stone for a long time. Still making the war galleys, though. And I do not think that the longboats are good enough to come back with this number deficit. TaToH's got to have some other plan right now. If water control doesn't do it for him, what is the goal? What will he do? I mean, the siege push on the side is okay if you have some crossbows with it. But he will lose these crossbows, and the knight can take out the siege, no problem. TaToH's struggling here, guys. He's going to drop another castle. 3 docks just feels so bad, though. Getting the war galley upgrade. Getting treadmill crane. And okay, there are the longboats. Galleon will be in for Dogao. And we have a trebuchet on the way for Dogao as well. Longboats can be upgraded to elite. They're pretty good when they're not elite. But the base attack is 7 versus 3. TaToH going heavy demo right now. And heavy demo makes me think that... I mean, I know TaToH loves his demos, but I think he was almost expecting fire ships here. Dogao just stuck on the galleon choice. Overall, I like Dogao's positioning right now. I like how he's producing out of almost all of his docks. He's got 2 castles. He's faster to the trebs. He has control of the middle. So this is no longer doing anything for TaToH. It's all about the middle. He doesn't have any other force that can really do anything to Dogao. Except for that navy. Games are so long in post-imp when you can't properly boom. Yeah, and when your eco can explode, for sure. Masonry coming in. Both players would need that. So TaToH's doing the right thing to get masonry. It's also interesting that he got treadmill crane, because that means you build faster. Feels like he's trying to find little bonuses that can bring him back into this one. It's not a bad tech per se, but it is rather expensive for what it brings. TaToH buying stone. He does not have much stone being mined right now, so he will likely lose this castle. The heavy demos need to land some massive shots here for TaToH to have any chance. Dogal, he might lose his castle. Here he moves forward. Chemistry a bit late for him, but it's on the way now. This galleon mass is massive. If 3 demos get in the middle, suddenly this could all disappear. Let's see. Here they come. The demos are also going for the villagers and the trebs. So this is huge for TaToH. He takes out the trebs. Dogao still has the better population, though. Obviously, losing the trebs will mean he can't push down TaToH's castle easily. But it's 40 galleons and then 7 longboats. Love the outpost for Dogao on the side, keeping vision on both sides right now. Aware that TaToH will probably push there if he's got control. He's got 4 relics. He can see the 5th one, so he could have all the gold control with that. He can't be hit on this side. And TaToH's longboats are just trying to distract right now, but I still don't know what TaToH's plan can really be. He hasn't... It's almost like he feels like land is impossible here. He hasn't even tried anything. Still trying with water. There's the micro. The longboats, though, should be short-lived at this point. And guys, think of the civilizations that are typically picked on this map. You have Japanese. You have Byzantines. And then, okay, both of those civs are just fantastic counters to Vikings on land, I feel. And then you could also say Britons, and I would maybe say a similar thing. The more I look at it, and I think Dogao has outplayed TaToH this game, don't get me wrong. The more I look at it, I still am not in love with the Vikings choice. I still am not sure why you would opt for Vikings over some of the other civilizations. But I can tell you that Japanese looks good. With Dogao controlling them, Japanese looks really good. There's a lot of question over Dogao and his shape compared to some of the other big names in this group. Because we knew one big name would likely be going down alongside Bad Boy. That was my prediction anyways. Bad Boy, unfortunately, has had a rough ride. Expected him to actually perform a little better, but wasn't sure what Dogao would be looking like. And then he was a little delayed due to some sickness, as was TaToH, actually. So he still has a lot of sets to play. But on Golden Swamp, Dogao has looked like a beast. Won that game against Nikov, like I mentioned, and now I think he's going to win this against TaToH. You can't go berserks against Japanese because they'll just go for samurai. And at this point, you just can't bring it back on water. I think TaToH is slowly coming to the realization this might be over. Gurjaras have a better win rate on the water map than Vikings. Well, it's a hybrid map, right? Vikings have never really been seen as a civilization that's good on hybrid situations because they don't have the fire down. So I wouldn't necessarily say it's a water map. Now, Gurjaras obviously... Gurjaras and Britons both are good on this map because of all the, like, buffaloes. That makes sense for both those civilizations. TaToH's done some crazy things where he goes to the sides on maps like this, and he pressures with rams and trash, and he hits you so much on the outside that you then struggle to be able to focus on the middle. But I feel like the middle's impossible now. Dogal's already switching to the sides as well. It's like he sees this stuff. This is over, man. This is over. TaToH's dead. So sad to see TaToH losing already. Yeah, I mean, I think Dogal played very clean this game. Remember, TaToH killed 2 villagers at the start. And then after those villagers went down for Dogal, everything just felt right. The man-at-arm pressure felt right. The eco looked really good as well. I think the biggest part of this game was how he recognized every time TaToH was trying to switch back onto water. And now he seems to recognize as he even has keep with Japanese. Yasama hype, let's go. Now he knows what TaToH's going to be up to on the sides as well. So he's denied it over here. Even has a little raid starting over here. Heated shot! TaToH! Where's supplies, man? I mean, heated shot is a great tech if you have situations like this. And Dogao should probably research it as well. Means you do more damage with your towers and your castles versus ships. But I don't know if the guy's going to have many towers and castles. That's the problem here. Does have a lot of food eco and is making a lot of skirms right now. Dogal is getting cav armor, I think, seeing the skirms and is thinking about going light cav or maybe even cavalier here. TaToH's got some really unique techs in this game, right? He went for a treadmill crane. Again, relevant, but like very rare to see. And then also ended up going right there for heated shot. Again, I don't mind heated shot. I just think the position is going to be so tough. The guy's got no gold and no relics. Wasn't even able to get a single relic. He's selling off the wood. Apparently the wood prices are decent. But he can't take resources. Honestly, if I were Dogal, I'm actually surprised he doesn't have more on stone. I figured there'd be more stone mining. I guess it's here. If I'm Dogal, I would even consider samurai if I had 3 castles. Because you do have a lot of your population on water. So you want the population that you have left to be as strong as possible. And samurai is probably your best unit. Japanese light cav not necessarily known for being all that good. Lacking final armor. Lacking bloodlines. In fact, I think Japanese light cav are extremely overrated. Any civilization which lack upgrades like that, normally you're not seeing as many light cav. But I think for Japanese, sometimes it's just... You get a little baited because back in the day, they didn't even get bloodlines. So you're like, oh, they're good now. Not that great. Like, they actually died as skirmishers. Which is not what you want at all. Because that's the reason you're making the light cav in the first place. The Trebs are slowly taking out TaToH's eco. That will just continue. TaToH's going to go Pikeman, Skirmisher, Siege Ram. That's his plan. But Siege Ram with what gold? I think the trades will be good enough for Dogal. And like I said, if you could mix in some samurai would be awesome. Dogal could also just buy stone at this point with all the gold in the middle. He got the relics. He controlled the middle. He knew exactly what TaToH was going to do every single time. I mean, remember when that villager was sneaking on the left and then he immediately moved his ship there and he sent army over to that side? It was like he knew, man. But TaToH, he does play that way. And it would have been the best way for TaToH to come back into the game at that time. Baskets, welcome. TaToH on the brink of a big loss here to start off this series. Oh, we're going to have champions. Okay, that's probably a bit smarter if you don't have the castle number. Supplies! There you go. Supplies champions. That's the way to do it here. TaToH's going to make full trash. TaToH doesn't want to call it quits yet. Champions is the best way to take care of skirmishers and pikemen. Also, Japanese champions are insane. Again, the light cav idea was good when it was just skirmishers. Now that you see the pikes, not necessarily, I don't necessarily think you need it, but it's just going to apply the finishing blow to TaToH. TaToH sees his pop as 175, so he figures I should still fight. And he also knows how important the game is, but he should realize if he doesn't get a big push soon, this is effectively over. There's Yasama, by the way, so I guess we didn't have that earlier on the towers. And the barracks for Dogao's over here. He's still waiting. He's just going to wait till he gets all of his technologies in. What would be great with the light cav is to send it, I guess the champions as well, but to send it into TaToH's eco at this point, because TaToH doesn't have any defense for that. Siege engineers! Again, TaToH with all the techs this game. Here he goes. He's going to have a push on this side with trash and rams. This will probably prompt Dogao to send units over there. And then he's going to have a push on this side. And Dogao might not notice this one. TaToH could actually make some progress here, possibly. TaToH's army is at 65. It's actually not bad. His population's still 200. Look at this fight, man. Again, I think the population efficiency, though, is going to be quite poor for him. Fully upgraded Japanese champions. I think you could have 10 of them, and they would just mop up each side. Shouldn't be an issue at all for Dogal. Certainly has the pop space, certainly has the economy. TaToH still doesn't have an opportunity to push the middle. That's where you have a lot of the barracks produced from anyways. It's not like Dogal has had 50 villagers on gold. He's just had the 5 relics. And it's as simple as that. I think TaToH's going to have to call it once he sees champion. Dogal is missing the final armor upgrade. I feel like he's a little late with some of this stuff. But he's clicked it now. I don't think it really matters. So, okay. I'm doing the math in my head. So TaToH's at 5 wins. And after this, obviously, we still have 2 more games. But after this, it'll be 3 wins for Dogal. Not bad. And Dogal has a full set in hand. Dang, man. There's supplies for TaToH. TaToH, my friend. Do you really think you can do this? Viking champions aren't bad. You don't have any relics. I did hear TaToH played another series before this in a tourney called RMS Cup. I'll be covering some of that on Sunday. Good news for him there. Well, bad news for him is he lost 3-2. So he played another series earlier today. Lost that series. We had asked him, like, do you want to play 2 sets in one day? And he was like, yep, we should be able to do it this time. That's why they're playing today. Good news for him is I think in that event, he goes to, like, the loser's bracket. So that's double elimination there. But maybe it's hit that point that I hit sometimes if I play all day where I'm like, it's a bit like a runner's high where you just don't feel exhaustion anymore. You just continue to push along here. And maybe that's translating to the situation we have here in this game. I think Dogal might have deleted some of his galleons, by the way, because at one point I think he had 40. I haven't been paying attention to the galleon number. He's going to get his own champions. So Viking champions have more HP. But Japanese champions attack faster. And the Japanese champion should completely wreck here. Not to mention Dogal could also mix an Arbalest, which TaToH can't really afford. And so as expected, Dogal's going to push back on both sides. Also, I don't think you really even need siege right now if you're Dogal, because the champion should destroy the buildings pretty quickly. And honestly, look, he's not going up any more skirms. When his skirms die, that's good for him. Because then he just pops up with champions. 50 champions in queue for the Bazillion. I heard he threw the last game versus Yo. That can't be good for mental going into another set. Oof. Well, there is this thing with TaToH. And I think people have done the math on it and basically determined that it's not as big a deal as you might think. But he does get into, like, the deciding game a lot. And there's been a lot of instances where he gets to, like, game 5 in a best of 5 or game 7 in a best of 7. And he'll lose those games. Now, again, like, what I read was there's also a lot that he wins as well. You know, he just happens to go to deciding games a lot. But it's enough where it's something that I've thought about over the last year and a half with TaToH. Obviously, here it's not a best of anything, so you play all the games. But every game is just as important. And I have to appreciate the guy's fight, right? Like, we know what he's up against here. He's up against 5 relics. He's no gold. And he continues to somehow make ground. But I just don't see it. Dogal has no problems with this situation. Dogal will focus all of his attention here. This is the only slight worry. He'll deal with this. And the bigger thing is he's raiding TaToH's eco right now. Grabbing down TaToH's TCs. Arbalest into the farming eco. Yeah, all 105 champions in queue for Dogal. And that probably wouldn't have been the end of it. And there we have it. TaToH taps out. Dogal gets a very important victory. $40 in the bank. T90 Titans League. TaToH, I think, has Houseboat as his home map, so that's what we'll have next. Does feel like TaToH fought on past the point where that was possible to win, but he also collected more resources. He had more wood and he had more food. He never had a potential to break Dogal, though. He tried in the middle, lost a lot of resources there, and he tried on the sides, but there never was a point where I felt like he was actually going to be able to make a ton of progress there. And you can understand it with every game being so important and also with what his population looked like, why he would continue to play there for a bit. Dogal is undefeated on Golden Swamp, so don't pick Golden Swamp against Dogal. All right, so we've confirmed that the teams are not locked. For anyone who is curious about why it shows allies at the bottom right, it's not a big deal. I don't think anyone's going to switch over and start to ally the other player in this series. In the red, we have Dogal playing as the Malay. And I haven't seen a ton of Malay being played. Malay play, get it? I hope you're having a wonderful day. I haven't seen the Malay played too frequently so far in this event. But if you remember, Houseboat was in Wandering Warriors Cup back in January. And near the tail end, Malay looked like one of the best civilizations there. They'll play out very similarly to Japanese, where they'll want to go for a lot of fishing ships. I do like the Malay here on this map. I don't think I like the Byzantines on this map, honestly. I would like the Byzantines if you try and take the opponent's fish away from them. But TaToH's gone for some really peculiar picks for me. Like Vikings game 1, I explained why I wasn't a massive fan of that. And Byzantines here, I mean, he's really going to have to show me what this civ is capable of. The Malay have so many awesome bonuses that play out onto this map. First off, you advance faster to the next stage with Malay. You spend less time researching the next stage, which means you get to creating villagers faster. That is essentially, if you don't take damage, it's like having a 3-vill lead for every age you're going up into. So if they both just ease their way to Castle Age, 6-vill lead, nothing you can do about it for the Malay. They have an awesome satisfying bonus, which I don't think is that helpful here, but it is still it looks really cool. And they have more vision on their docks. So when Dogal ends up making his dock here, just look at how much vision he gets from it. Also, their fish traps, they no longer have infinite food like they did back in the day, but they have tons of food. I think it's like 3 times the amount of food, which is over 2,000 food per fish trap. Wow, apparently my brain is paying me back for all the coffee I drank earlier in the day. So yeah, I think that Malay just make a whole lot of sense on a map with water. I would say where Malay have some problems, though, is if this turns into a situation... Ooh, Dogal needs to be careful. But if this turns into a situation where it's land v land and the game is even, then I love the Byzantines. And that could be part of the reason why TaToH picked the Byzantines. Now, I think a big reason to pick the Byzantines, and I'm guessing it because he's scouting as well, is to go forward dock on the enemy. You don't want the Malay to fish and get those fish traps. Byzantine docks will have more HP, and the Byzantine fire ships work faster. So you can be very offensive, and that could be a strategy here. And again, because TaToH is scouting this early, I'm guessing that might be his plan. He as well has docked. So let's look at TaToH's vision. Nothing too crazy, right? Let's look at Dogal's dock. Whew, look at this. Now, obviously, he has other things around, so it doesn't look as crazy, but... Trust me, when he has Town Watch later, he's going to have vision all the way out here. Pretty insane. No, it's not a sudden death game. So here's what I would do if I'm Dogao. I think I would go 2 docks from home. Because there's no downside. If you go 2 docks from home and TaToH shows up, then you just defend your fish. If you go 2 docks from home and TaToH doesn't show up to your base and they both just end up fish booming at home, then you just add more fishing ships and then your eco is going to be fine. I know there's an argument for the Malay to use their faster uptime to go forward and try and take out TaToH's fish. But I think if anything, you need to prepare for the worst. And the worst would be if TaToH were to try that against you. So here comes TaToH, 2 villagers. Dogal. You look, he's scouting around. He might run into these villagers. He might not. But he's about to click up to the next stage. And I'm very curious what he does with his villagers here. Drops off some food. Clicks up. Now, Dogal's got a lot on food, guys. He does not have a lot on wood. TaToH's going to transfer villagers over to wood. TaToH's also going to get some villagers over to gold. But again, this is why, or one of a few reasons why Byzantines can thrive here. And TaToH also scouted the whole thing. It's weird. He doesn't actually see the dock, which is funny. But he knows there's no dock over here. So he is going to get this dock up. Gao's looking. He's stealing some pigs. He's coming over here to take wood. He's adding more fishing ships. He doesn't know TaToH's here. I think he's expecting to sit at home, but he doesn't know that he's going to need to go for docks here. This is an amazing start for TaToH. I have to be critical of how Dogao has played it because he's late with the scouting. Let's see, though. He is going double lumber camp. He is sending villagers to gold, so he might not have even had the wood in the first place to be able to defend himself. And okay, so he started at a galley. I think you need to cancel this. Yep, cancel it. And go for a fire galley instead. Oh, wait, he's sending vills. Okay, so some people have towered this. I think it was Backed versus Winchester. And look at this. Dogal's sending his villagers, and he's even transporting! Oh my god, that's so sick! He transported another batch of villagers so they couldn't be walled out. And he's doing everything he can to stop this dock from going up. TaToH deletes it. And that's an interesting approach from Dogal. Again, I wouldn't mind to see a tower here. But I think he's at least happy that it's going to be 1 dock versus 1 dock right now. For TaToH, though, while he has lost that villager, he still is not being hit at home. He can do whatever he pleases. And he will force a lot of reactions from the enemy. TaToH trying to save his villager with some quick walls. He will get the quick walls down. But he's going to have to run eventually, you'd think. Dogal's going to just leave 2 villagers here attacking the palisades. I'll keep an eye on that when I can. Okay, so still 1 dock for Dogal. Keep in mind that the rest of his fish is over here. So he just finished that one. He's beginning to get a little bit closer to the pressure. And now TaToH's sending more villagers. And he wants to tower. And then he wants to add another dock, it looks like. Dogal is adding a 2nd dock. TaToH is running away. Dogal was trying to wall him in. TaToH noticed. There he goes towards the corner. TaToH with more quick walls. This guy's insane with quick walls. In the previous game, he walled in a tiger. I don't know if Dogal is going to be expecting this level of commitment from TaToH. I think that he's feeling like he's in a great spot. He's denied what is TaToH's best strategy. And he's got 2 docks, and he should be okay. Suddenly, he's not okay. Because TaToH's tower is going to complete, which will obviously harass the fishing ships and help keep the villagers here. That dock's going to complete as well. Meanwhile, Dogal has, I think, successfully walled in TaToH. However, TaToH is somehow attacking that palisade through his own palisades, which is stupid because Dogal's villager can't hit Dogal. Oh! Oh! Oh, I was wrong. Okay, so it's not stupid anymore. Now it makes sense. Now it's fair. Villager's dead. TaToH hopped out with the fire galleys. TaToH's push very much alive here. So he will repair his fires. Hey, Tomas, thank you for the 6. He says, 6 months here and 4 years of Twitch. Time flies by really fast. You have midnight. Thank you, man. Thank you, thank you. Time does fly. That counts, T90? True! God, for context, Seb said that TaToH would go forward towers in one of the next 2 games. And honestly, I didn't think it would happen. I did not think it would happen. You're right, Seb. Well played. And so far, so good for both players, I'd say, in many ways. I mean, for Dogao, obviously, he's under so much pressure, but he did kill 2 villagers. And TaToH has had to work hard to actually make this happen. At the same time, I mean, it's not like Dogao can do anything to TaToH. So even if TaToH were to be later to Castle Age, I think he's happy that he has this position. And he's stopping the melee from getting that fish boom going, from using the fish traps in the long term. At least he's not giving him a free fish boom, as we have this demo. Boom! Not the best demo ever. There's actually a demo here for Dogao. He's trying to use the TC against the demo right now, is what he's doing. There's a demo. Dogao still with some patience, but now he hops out with his own demo, and boom, and that's a much better one. TC fire, also something that you have to take into account here if you're both players. And also, at the same time, you still have to get villagers working. This map is not easy to play at all. We have the constant repairs, we have the constant production, and then you have to think, can I take berries? Do I farm? What do I do for food? Like, TaToH, it's easier for him to take its berries for food income because he doesn't have stuff at the front of his base. Dang. TaToH is slowing down the game to get to import Byzantines win. Yeah, I mean, there's a long game ahead of us here, and we don't know if TaToH is going to make it to Castle Age just fast. And obviously, Dogal, he could end up fishing here anyways. But it is a positive that these 2 fish can't be taken right now. That's a couple hundred food that would come in quite quickly for Dogal. And also Dogal with a lot of wood, you know, can't think to say let's fish trap because he's trying to micro. I don't know if that was intentional or not, but the fishing ship kind of soaking up a couple shots. Feels weird for Dogao to go out there with the ships, though. Could be that he was doing some other things. Double checking over here. We have a barracks for him. TaToH has made outposts all along this, which is awesome. And Dogao could be at risk right now on water, guys. Oh, big moment. Big moment. Does TaToH see this? He does see it. Wow, he does see it. And he's going to return the favor for Dogal. Oh, my God. TaToH's a beast. Oh, my God. He's a beast. I mean, Dogal's a beast as well. They're just both beasts, which is why it's crazy that both of these guys, they're so desperate for wins because they're so amazing, and yet they could get relegated from this group. They're in that conversation. But, I think this is a whole lot worse for Dogal right now. The fires from TaToH are everywhere. He takes out the transport ship. So now all new villagers can't be relocated to their jobs. And this dock is not going to accomplish anything, or it won't even go up. TaToH could also kill these villagers because he has a starting scout. And now TaToH, I think, has finally accomplished what he wanted here. He's not finished, obviously. Has to be careful if Dogal were to make a demo there. But lovely work from here. Should be able to kill this villager. Dogal's got a lot of work to do. Now, over here, you do have archers from Dogal. And that's something TaToH has to worry about. TaToH will lose a villager there. But, guys, Dogal needs to cancel all of his villas and try and go Castle Age in this TC, because producing villagers from it at this point do nothing for you. Unless you can take the water back. And if you can take the water back, obviously that would change. How many wins does TaToH need here to ensure that he advances? I think if he had a 3-0, he's looking somewhat comfortable. But I don't even think a 3-0 would necessarily confirm that he advances. But it would obviously be a massive, massive thing. For if either player 3-0s, they're looking good. But I don't know if it's actually confirmed. There will be a player here who only has... Well, I guess at worst for Dogao, he's only going to have 1 win. I feel like if you come out of this with 1 win or 0 wins, that's when you really start to sweat if you're either player. And it's very possible that that could happen for one of these 2 individuals. And Dogal calls the GG. Dogal taps out. And so, yes, now it is 1 win for both players. And we have ourselves a series here. Wow, that was so smart from TaToH. Honestly, it's funny how this game works sometimes. In the previous game, TaToH had lost water, and he kept just trying to get it back. And it looked really bad. I was like, he's out of ideas. He doesn't have anything else to do. Why is he continuing to do this thing that's losing him the game? But here it was completely different. Here he recognized that he still had that one dock pumping, and that if he just didn't go for the second dock, that he could have some potential problems later on against Dogal's fish. I think for Dogal, he really struggled to keep up with it once the second dock came up. I think we also saw the power of Byzantines having additional HP. We saw the power of the tower, but we also saw the power of the fire ships working faster there. Overall KD was 20-10. I probably should show that stuff a little bit more frequently. TaToH just had the better of the engagements. And then I love this play because it was a wise move from Dogal to deny that dock. Byzantines having free town watch really helped TaToH there because he could see those villagers were on the way. But the thing is I wouldn't have blamed him if he didn't notice that, because he's not really looking back here that frequently. And he had to apply most of his focus here. So the fact that he noticed that and was also winning the fight in the front was really impressive. Really think the only way out for Dogal from here would have been if his archers do damage, which is why he called the GG, because his archers were not going to do damage. And then also, of course, if he was going to Castle Age and he did not have the food for that. If Dogal deletes this TC and relocates it, it costs a lot of resources. It takes a lot of time. And then Dogal's probably Castle Age minutes faster. Or did I say Dogal? I meant to say TaToH. And I think TaToH can do some crazy things from there. TaToH did fight on a lot in the first game. So you could argue that maybe Dogal should have continued to fight here. But honestly, I can see why he called it. He'd have no fish. He'd have no TC. These villagers would all die. Yeah, there's no way. Like, his villagers here all die. So he loses 8 vills. The guy was in big trouble from here. What is going on, man? TaToH goes Lithuanians and Dogal goes Sicilians. Both of these guys with some interesting choices. Now, I remember the conversation that I had with Dave, I think, in that one game that Dogal played against Nikov. And we thought that maybe we would see Aztecs on Arabia, and then Dogal went Sicilians to counter Aztecs. I think it was Sicilians Burgundians, though. So with TaToH having Mayans and Aztecs, I think there's a chance that Dogal tried to maybe counter that, feeling like Sicilians could be really good. Anyways, he ends up with Sicilians, and we have the Lithuanians for TaToH. Not the Civ matchup I expected at all. Now, I do like Lithuanians a lot more than Sicilians here, because you already start with all this food, and then you have lots of food that you could bring in. So he brought in his elephant, he brought in a lot of his deer, and he's going to continue to do that. Where I won't like Lithuanians quite as much is with any trash units. Sicilians do have resistance to bonus damage, so skirmishers and spearmen just aren't going to be quite as strong. With that said, I'd prefer TaToH go into something that doesn't play into that, and I would like to see him go man-at-arms. I think going into man-at-arm archer is the way to go, as opposed to maybe going into, like, even scout play. I feel like if you go scouts and the enemy goes scouts... Now, granted, scout rush isn't bad, right? Scouts can still kill villagers. But, if you think about it, in a normal scout war, it becomes scouts and spearmen. And so then Sicilians start to feel a little bit stronger. So, I don't know. Just thinking about it in my brain, maybe I would like to see a man-at-arm opening here. But I think as an 18 population scout rush or something that fast is still going to give you an edge over Sicilians. So, might be getting ahead of the game. Actually, another thing that I keep forgetting on this map is oftentimes players are not really scouting that early. And there's nothing worse than going for man-at-arms and not scouting your opponent, and then you're just stuck running around with 3 militia. So yeah, actually, the more I think about it, I would really like to see scouts from TaToH. Yeah, neither player using their first pick. And TaToH not using his first or his second pick. Very weird. This stream is like Roller Coaster Tycoon. T90 blocked the exits, and we're here. Yeah, right? And you guys are storming back and forth. I don't have enough money to subscribe. I don't want to ride this ride again. I don't want Forest Nothing. Yeah. When things settle down after Titans League, I will have a weekend event or two. I have some cool stuff coming up, but I'm looking forward to being able to play some other games on occasion. I'm not sure if I'm going to go back and do Roller Coaster Tycoon, because I feel like I finished all the campaigns that I really enjoyed, and all the other ones kind of sucked. But I already spoke to my big bro, and we're going to do some farming simulator together. We're going to create our own family farm and have a good time. And just some more, mixing in some more casual streams sometimes will be really fun. So, no 24-hour streams, Valley. No 24-hour streams. You unforce nothing, though? Well, maybe next Friday. Maybe next Friday. So, scouts for TaToH. TaToH's walling up a lot here, though. And he noticed how he hasn't left his base. This is why I think going scouts is actually smart. It's kind of similar to Jungle Swamp in that way, where players know that their villagers would be exposed if they ever place a mill on their extra hunt. So they just stay at home for a while. This is super safe from TaToH, though. Like, Dogal's expecting this to be a somewhat open game. Sicilians do have more food on their farms, which is always great. Big reason to not take that risk. Take the hunt at this stage, like I mentioned. One lumber camp for Dogal. I feel like this is going to end up haunting him at some point. But again, that's not like... Oh, I guess TaToH did the same. Okay, I'm stupid. Never mind. Okay, with the way the build orders work in my brain, if I go 20 pop or 21 pop, or you could go 28 pop. I don't give a crap. If you're going anything that's 21 pop or up, you always go 2 lumber camps. If I'm 19 or 18 population, I think both these guys went 19 population. Typically, I'm 1 lumber camp. Because then, otherwise, the timing is a bit off with the barracks and the stable and your eco upgrades. So, I guess what I'm saying is I feel like this is all fairly standard. Dogal's going to see these walls, though, and he's going to be like, are you kidding me? On Serengeti? You're full walling Serengeti, TaToH? That's wild, man. This is very, very rare. Now, you could always over chop in some situations, but TaToH's woodline is back here. So he seems completely safe right now, and Dogal's going to have to play very defensive in Feudal. Not seeing any gaps. Will we ever have a community week? Just week-long weird games where everyone explodes kings and things? Probably... I mean, I don't want to say never. But I think what makes community games nice for me is it's a change of pace throughout the week. I think doing a full week, I would only do that to try and get people in community games that have never played before. But I would be worried that, like, on day 3, I would just be a little burnt out from community games. The way I normally work my schedule is I have 3 different things I'm doing, maybe 4 each week, but it's all the same game. And that has worked for me so far. So, otherwise, I would get tired of everything, I think. Not like the game itself, but like after a while, you know, it'd be like, I want a change of pace. Right. Yeah, I did do it once before. It was many years ago, though. So 5 scouts for Dogal. And he's just made enough scouts here where he can defend himself. And it's always an awkward position because that's all he can do. He's made these scouts, and he has to worry about himself. TaToH's in the unique position where he could hide if he's making more army or not. So you have to gauge, based on TaToH's army number, how much you're going to make if you're Dogal. And you can see what's happening. I don't know why these scouts are moving like that. That's very weird. So weird looking. What is happening? Why are they doing that? I saw that last week as well. I do not understand that. That also can't be efficient for pathing. Anyways, so right now he made 5 scouts, 3 spearmen. And he's not queuing up any more. But he's looking. He's really wondering. As he's going to go in, he's going to kill the spearmen. Dang, Sicilian power. But he's curious on how much army TaToH's going to have. And now he sees TaToH has an extra scout. So he's like, oh, what am I going to do? Boom, extra scout. A very good tracking here from Dogal. Also love how he's played it so far. Picking off the spearman was a wise choice, I feel, because the one was weak. Now, TaToH doesn't have to make more army. TaToH could just run around the whole time, but feels like a pretty good opportunity for him to make a little bit more or maybe get an upgrade. And there it is. There's forging. I would buy a new computer if I had guaranteed spot in community games. Jeez, man. You're putting a lot of pressure on yourself there. Every week or just one time? Wait. That could be my business model. People are buying whole new computers for community games. There we go. Like, listen, you don't need to buy a new computer. Use your computer, but you can just give me $350 and I'll give you a spot. I'm not doing that. It's stupid. I'm not going to do that. It's unfair. and it would ruin community games. So that's a joke, okay? Dude, if you seriously, if you're out there and you love this game, do what you want with your money, obviously. But if you're like mainly a console guy who's recently come back to the game, maybe build up and eventually get a PC. I know it's really tough with PCs right now, but it's exciting, man. It's exciting. As someone who remembers that, I remember I used to play consoles and I had a laptop, and then I got my PC. It's really sick. But I know right now might not be the time for that. So, and I'm very impressed with how Dogal has played this. This is a very tricky scenario for him. He takes this fight here, and he's got Bloodlines, and he's also got Forging, but he does not have the numbers he needs. Even though I'm impressed, I think he really misjudged that one. But still, I mean, he hasn't taken any damage. His eco has looked untouched. 15 seconds of TC idle time. Could ease his way up to the next stage and could even get his walls down here. 2012 Surface Pro 2 doesn't cut it. Do you play the game on that? Like, have you tried multiplayer? I'm curious. TaToH using the market to get some resources to go up to the next stage. And TaToH is here again with another attack. And yet Dogal needs to make more spearmen. Still feels like he's got just enough. TaToH doesn't have bloodlines yet. But if I'm Dogal, I'm still sending spearmen here. And I'm very worried about what this could lead to. What's my setup? Slightly better than a 2012 Surface Pro. Slightly. But, you know, I understand the situation, man. TaToH's through. TaToH's on the way to Castle Age. His opening has put Dogao in a position to make so many mistakes. And Dogao is not broken yet. Dogao is the quick wall there. Did relocate to his woodline over here. It's embarrassing. I'm actually not a super PC nerd, so I don't even remember the specs. But I've got a 2 PC setup with 3 monitors, and I've got I've got 1 PC's Intel, others AMD. We've got like a recent Threadripper in one. Basically, it's complete overkill for Age of Empires 2. But it's not actually complete overkill for what I'm doing these days in terms of like my streaming and also recording. I will someday make a video when we actually redo the room. It's like usable right now. But we're going to make some changes whenever I can get Willis down to Florida again. And when that happens, as that villager dies, that's the first villager kill in the game. When that happens, I'll make a video. It is funny, though, because it's such an old game. So, like, talking about beefy setups is pretty hilarious to me. Like, did you ever see that classic Age of Empires meme? It's like, buys $2,000 computer, plays 20-year-old game. That's pretty much what we're talking about here. All right, so the reason TaToH has the vill lead is because, well, obviously he killed the villager, but also due to the fact that Dogal researched wheelbarrow and TaToH did not. And you can actually see the benefit of wheelbarrow with the amount of food income here. That food income's incredible. Now, TaToH is getting certain upgrades as well, but that food income for Dogal could carry him big time here. And he's just made more scouts here. He feels like having the scouts out is going to be important against any monks from the Lithuanian player. And we do see TaToH already with the monastery. He's going to go out to get those relics. Still just so much military for TaToH. Sicilians do build their town centers faster, so there's the TC for Dogal. I think it was so nice for Dogal that TaToH never ventured back here to see this woodline. I think that would have been a really tough thing to wall up. And, ooh, speaking of walls, Dogal, this is surprising to me, trying to wall that up. The walls themselves are not surprising. It's just the fact that he didn't expect a follow-up from TaToH and Knights. Dogal's going to have +2 armor, though. And Dogal could push this back as he goes for his own monastery, but it's been all TaToH in terms of aggression so far. It was weird, man. Fast Feudal into full wall scouts, and then he did such a... I think he made the perfect amount of army. He didn't make too much, where he was late to Castle Age. He didn't overextend, but he also didn't make too little. While 2 villagers might not feel like a crazy reward for some, I think TaToH's going to be happy with that. Also, just having the map control now to be able to expand to another TC on a gold, having the map control for the relics is massive. And what Dogal needs is he needs a fight that clears this. If he loses this fight, TaToH's going to be getting the relics. TaToH's economy is going to be insane. And so Dogal does actually hold this fight. That was crucial for him. And for Dogal, I'll look at his point of view here in a second. He does see, whoops, that's not it. He does see this gold. So he might place a town center there. But he does not really have a way to contest those relics right now. TaToH will have the extra attack once he gets this relic. And that will actually make a pretty big difference in these fights. And Dogal's still looking to get the walls down here, and he just cannot do it. But he is going to have a monk. So the monk will heal, and if TaToH comes in here, TaToH will probably end up having to run away. I noticed when Dogal was playing Knights with Sicilians against Nikov last week that he was also getting housed a lot. It's not a Sicilian thing, but maybe it's just the problems that can come in sometimes. And TaToH kills the monk. Only loses one scout. Man. Game number 1 was a bit questionable at times from TaToH. But he's got 2 relics now, guys. 10 plus 3 attack. And he still has a scout here to pick off the next monk. This might be a much faster game than we thought when we saw how even it was a moment ago. But TaToH's turned a slight lead into a massive lead now. KD continues to grow for him, and Dogal calls the GG. TaToH with a very, very important 2-1 victory here. This is his second set win. So he has now won 2-1 versus Dogal. He then won 3-0 versus Bad Boy. But then he had lost to Nikov, and he had lost to MBL 1-2. So TaToH has one more round left to play, so he's on schedule. He'll be playing next week. He plays against ACCM. ACCM's also in a really... He's in a Dogal-like position and a TaToH-like position where he needs results, so that'll be an important series. I forget who ACCM plays. Actually, I think ACCM has to play Dogal. Yeah, I think ACCM and Dogal are supposed to play this weekend. So that is why ACCM has not had his 4th set yet, and that is why Dogal has not had his 4th set yet. We could come out of that ACCM Dogal set saying that whoever loses that series will probably be the other person to get relegated in this group, possibly. Dogal will have ACCM, and then Dogal will have Bad Boy. So, anyways, it's a crazy group. It is very much a conversation right now because of how Nikov and MBL have played. Who is going to go down with Bad Boy between Dogal, TaToH, and ACCM. But great game there from TaToH. Good recovery from him as well. Also, the guy's a beast. He played another tournament series right before this. He was the one who proposed this time, and he was actually ready to go immediately after playing that other series today.